Let's now also take a look at the trade ties between India and the United States. Now, first, India and the United States have strong bilateral ties. US is India's largest trading partner with 118 billion bilateral trade in 2023 and 2024. Next, tariff disputes. Trump against India's tariff rates. Trump labelled India tariff king. Now, next we go to trade deficit. Trump's focus is on reducing deficit. India-US trade balance likely to be scrutinized. Next, we come to import duties. India-US are expected to explore phasing out import duties. Let's now also take a look at some of the big challenges when it comes to India and the US. Trump's curbing Iran's influence by restricting its oil revenue, essentially aiming to bring Iran's oil export to zero, crude export to zero. Now, Trump has also threatened BRICS for pushing alternatives to US dollar stems. Now, illegal Indian migrants are one of the highest in the United States, which is something that Trump has been talking about, deportation. Trump's tariff game on trading partners may also impact India. Now, US President Donald Trump emphasized the importance of India buying more American-made military gear and weapons, as well as reducing the trade imbalance, where he invited the Indian Prime Minister to Washington in January. India depends on Russia for nearly 60% of its defense equipment, but the war in Ukraine has added to doubts about future supplies, and New Delhi has been looking more towards the US to fill in. And that's where the two countries can see a lot of development happening in the coming months.
India is in talks with the United States for the purchase and co-production of combat vehicles, as well as finalizing a fighter jet engine deal. India is the world's biggest arms importer, and in this, Russia has been its traditional source. In January, when the US President Donald Trump invited the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for a two-day visit to Washington, he suggested that India should buy more US-made security equipment. India and the US have been in protracted talks over the co-production of Stryker combat vehicles made by General Dynamics and also used by the US Army. They are also working to wrap up contract talks on co-production of fighter jet engines in India for the Indian Air Force. This was a deal agreed in 2023.
All the options are under discussion, and we certainly wish to expedite the transaction which we would like to have with the USA. Now the production line has stabilized, not only in HAL, but also the engine, G404 engine. So we are sure that from 25-26 onwards, the LCA Tejas supply would be as per the original plan.
Officials of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited are set to meet in coming weeks with US officials and the aerospace unit of General Electric, the maker of GE414 engines, for talks to finalize the deal by March this year.
We are working with our American partner G company, which is supplying GE404 engine, so that their supply also gets streamlined in this year 25-26 and onwards.
New Delhi has started talks with the Trump administration on a plan to buy Stryker vehicles after they were demonstrated late last year for the Indian Army. The plan is to acquire a few hundred Strykers with a mounted anti-tank guided missile systems. This could help India to co-produce these locally in future. Since 2008, India has contracted over $20 billion worth of US origin defense equipment. In the first term of the US President Donald Trump in the Oval Office, India and the US made significant defense deals. Within the first 2 years of coming to power, India and US signed the foundational or enabling agreement COMCASA on the sidelines of the inaugural 2+2 dialogue on 6th September 2018. The Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, or BECA, signed in October 2020, enabled India to access high-quality satellite data for enhanced accuracy of missiles and armed drones, benefiting Indian defense capabilities. Before that, in Feb 2020, India and the US concluded defense deals worth $3 billion for 24 MH-60R Seahawk multi-role helicopters for the Navy and 6 AH-64E attack helicopters for the army. 5 years later, once again when Prime Minister Modi and President Trump sit down together, defence would be one of the top items on their agenda for sure. Bureau Report, India Today.